That didn't go down for some reason. Maybe when I snatch it forward, it will. Oh. So we have an E46 Pro car here. We built this over the last couple of years, and it's done everything we've ever wanted it to, but we don't get to enjoy it very much. We only get to drive it maybe once a month, once every couple weeks or so, if that, and it's very expensive to upkeep. We've wanted to build a street car for quite some time. It's gonna be a variation of that, but not quite probably what you're expecting. But I wanna do inline turbo 6, convert it to manual because it's currently automatic, rear wheel drive, convert it, and just put bodies in the thing. So we're gonna go connect the trailer, go on a little road trip to Orlando, and see if we can't get a new project car. Let's go. Okay, so you're gonna throw it up, he's gonna call it in the air, and whatever it lands is whatever it is. If he wins, I'm giving him 8. If I win, I'm giving him 7. Good?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Ah, you got it. All right, good deal. You good with that?
Yeah, we're good.
All right, cool. I get to keep the coin though, right? I'm just kidding. We did it. That's a wagon. So here we go. E46 wagon. That door doesn't open. Off to a great start. Bunch of junk in here. Really dark right now, but interior's pretty good from what I can tell. Seats are nice, black seats. Little ding right here. Obviously this is junk. This got crinkled up, but this could be fixed, or we could wide body it or whatever. It's a good E46. I haven't even sat in this thing yet. Let's get a little seat check. Oh yeah, we're in here. Okay. Smells like your typical E46 Crown. Could use some new trim pieces, but black dash, black door cards. Everything's pretty beat. Like it all needs to be freshened up. Somebody dookied on the headliner. Yellow. But it's an E46 wagon. I think it would be sick. So we got the hatch open. I don't exactly know what changed, but we hit this button right here and it worked. And now, since then, it will actually open from this button as well. So I don't know, this might be one of those cars that has just sat for such a long time that stuff's not working, and then as you start to use it, it works, because I also couldn't get the key out of the ignition, and after playing with that for a minute, now that comes out of the ignition, goes back in, no problem. I'm not too sure, gonna call it a night. We cleared out most of it. Interior's in pretty good shape. I mean, definitely dirty, and there's some weird spots that could be fixed or replaced, but black interior, definitely love that. Seats are in pretty good shape. I think it'll clean up well. What I want to also do is play around with trying to see if we can get this thing to fire up. So first thing I'm gonna do is put on some gloves. This car is nasty. Just pull that out, yep. So we got the intake manifold off, and we have discovered there's water in the 5th cylinder. Now, like I said, the guy that I bought it from told me that there might be a bad head gasket, so not too alarmed yet, but I never really thought about it. I should probably try and spin this thing over and see if there's anything weird going on, make sure it's not like a broken piston or something. Anything getting locked up. because if I don't see anything too crazy, then maybe we'll go ahead and pull the head, put a new head gasket in it, and send this thing. But yeah, if it's a broken piston, then I'm not even gonna worry about pulling the head. So let's see. Oh dude, there's so much water coming out of cylinder 5. I'm not gonna ask no questions on how that just worked. The best thing to do is put a screwdriver in there that has a bunch of metal shavings and do that. Yeah, that's not good. Okay, so we went to drain the radiator and some milkshake coolant oil mixture came out, which makes sense because cylinder 5 has a bunch of water in it, so something's really damaged. Maybe the cylinder head is cracked, it could just be a bad head gasket, it could be a lot of things. So I think we are going to go ahead and pull this head off. While I was under the car, I went ahead and removed the bolts that hold the headers to the mid pipe. I need to remove all of the bolts that attach the headers to the actual cylinder head itself. Then I need to put cylinder 1 at top dead center, lock the cams together, remove vanos, remove the head bolts, and I believe at that point the head should come out and we can get a better idea of what's going on. My buddy Aziz just gave me a great tip. If you loosen the passenger side motor mount, you can actually jack up the engine and get it to kind of pivot a little bit, and that'll help with getting this exhaust manifold off. Most engines sit in the car kind of vertical. For BMWs, a lot of times they're kind of at an angle, and then you have the frame rail, so you're kind of working at this weird like upward angle to try and get these exhaust manifold bolts off. So if we can kind of get the engine to do that a little bit and get us some space on the frame rail, that'll help a lot. So I just undid the motor mount bolt. I'm gonna put a jack under there and see if it actually works. He said he did it the other day, so I'm sure it will. But yeah, I was dreading this, so I'm really hoping this works. This will be awesome. Oh, that helps loads already. Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, perfect. Another thing I've been doing during this process that's been helping is anytime I'm taking something off that I'm not sure how many bolts it is or if I'm missing any bolts, I'm going on Google and looking up a picture. So for example, this exhaust manifold, I remember from previous BMWs that I've done that there's a lot of bolts, but I don't remember exactly where they are. So I'm gonna look up a picture of one that's already been removed from a car, and then I can kind of go through as I'm taking these out and make sure I'm not missing any. And then hopefully it should just make this easier. So prime example, I just looked up a picture and now I know that there's 16 exhaust manifold bolts and I know exactly where they're at. Thank you for the help, Aziz. All right, we got Mike over here helping. Cranking. The exhaust manifold bolts are a pain in the ass. There's 16 of them, I believe, and it took me probably an hour, hour and a half just to get 5 of them undone yesterday, so I really want to get this out. I don't think you can pull the head with those attached. We tried, and if it is possible, I don't know how. But we're gonna get these manifolds off, and then the head should be able to come out.
If I get it past the AC lines.
We got some of the nastiness out of the cylinder walls, and it's not too bad. We spilled the milkshake stuff everywhere, and the rest of the engine bay is pretty dirty, so we're gonna go ahead and push it outside, take this as an opportunity to power wash everything, probably go ahead and pull the head outside, power wash that as well, and then get a better idea of what's going on, what the plans are, if this bottom end is salvageable, if the head is salvageable, and go from there. There we go. Okay. The back's not in. The back is in. All right, we're in. That was not fun, but it is what it is. So I zip tied these together before I took it out, so hopefully this makes it pretty easy. All right, I think that's a good stopping point for the night. We got to a point where we kind of need to buy the BMW specific timing tool for the dual Vanos setup. I never quite realized when working on other people's cars with this stuff why that tool is so critical. I always thought it was just a matter of making sure you were on the right tooth on the chain, the timing chain itself, which is pretty easy to tell. But I've now learned after actually spending some time with it myself that yeah, that tool is pretty critical to make sure that the little cups that actually actuate Vanos and do the variable valve timing are in the correct location. It's not just a matter of if it's off by a couple degrees because it's off of a tooth. It's very precise. So I'm gonna buy probably some Amazon kit that locks the cams and sets the Vanos cups where they're supposed to be. And that'll probably take a couple days, but that's okay. I've wrenched on this thing all weekend and I'm honestly ready for a break. It was a lot of fun. I learned a lot and I'm really hoping that we fixed our issue. There's a small chance that maybe that cylinder head has a crack somewhere that I couldn't see, but I'm hoping it was just a bad head gasket. I was also dreading doing the head bolts because again, aluminum block, sometimes you can rip the threads out, but that did not happen. So all in all, it was a pretty good day. A lot of work, but we got to pressure wash the engine bay, got the old head out, cleaned everything up, new head gasket, heads in, bolts are all torqued, and the Vanos is all just loosely put in there. Once the kit comes to lock the cams, we can finish up Vanos, pull the pin on the timing chain tensioner, and then at that point we can put the valve cover back on, refresh everything that's going on underneath the intake manifold. I got a new water pump, new thermostat, and then we can fight with those exhaust manifolds one more day. I'll probably go ahead and buy some new studs and nuts for that as well, but I think another day and a half of wrenching and this thing should be ready to see if it's gonna run. So exciting stuff. We'll pick back up in just a second. For me, it'll probably be a day or two. See ya.
All right, it's about a week later. My work schedule got crazy. Haven't had a chance to work on this, but I did go ahead and order that timing chain timing kit, I guess is what it is, and we just got it. So we're gonna go ahead and get this set up and get Vanos and everything tightened and fully locked in. And at that point, we can put the valve cover in, put the exhaust manifold, intake manifold, hook up some wires, and see if this thing is going to run. So we're just gonna get right after it. All right, after several hours of agonizing pain, we finally got the exhaust all connected back. That sucked. Never want to have to do that again. Next one's definitely going to get a turbo manifold. Now we are currently working on figuring out what all of the wiring does, because I did not do a good job when I took everything apart of kind of noting it, and some of the stuff was already disconnected from the previous owner. So we're figuring out what's what. And then also, the shop is in shambles. We've got the intake manifold here, and we're kind of going through and replacing some vacuum lines and just trying our best to refresh this with as cheaply as we can. I'm not really trying to break the bank because I know I'm gonna turn around to sell this car, and I don't know how much of this actually needs to be replaced, how much of it is actually necessary to run the car, or how much is just evap stuff. Some of this stuff is just really nasty, so I wanted to go ahead and, while we had an opportunity, fix it. Kind of refreshing the intake manifold the best I can, and then figuring out the wiring. Once that's done, we'll put the intake manifold back on. I just got a new oil filter. We're gonna drain all the nastiness out of this engine, put new oil and a filter in. I got new spark plugs, and eventually we will see if this thing will fire up. But I gotta spend a lot of time and figure out what each of those plugs do and try to finish this thing. Let's go. All right, moment of truth. Let's see if this thing cranks. All right, we're gonna stop for the day. I've been working on this thing all day, just like last weekend. I'm ready to go take a shower, take a break, but also it's really late and the exhaust is missing some O2 sensors, so it'd be really loud if it were to start, which I don't know, it might. But tomorrow we'll come out here and drain the oil out of it, put some new oil in it, connect the coil packs and the coil pack harness, and see if we can't get this thing to fire over. Catch you back in a bit. As soon as I ended that clip, I just started thinking about it, and I am actually going to go ahead and drain the oil tonight. When I washed out the engine from all of the milkshake oil coolant mix, I don't know what all got down past the rings. I'm sure it's pretty nasty, so I'm actually going to go ahead and drain the oil tonight so that overnight I can leave the drain plug out. Really try my best to get everything out of it, everything that shouldn't be in there, all the water or whatever. And then this way tomorrow when I come out, all I got to do is put the drain plug in and then fill it with oil, put the coil packs on, and try and start it. So let's drain this oil, see how nasty it is, see how much it is. Oh yeah, that's water. now that we got
Where the hell is it?
that draining, I'm gonna call it a night, and we'll put the drain plug in that thing in the morning, put some oil in it, put some coil packs on the plugs, and hopefully it goes vroom vroom. Good night. It actually might not be that bad. It's got the top light, the top O2 sensors are missing. That's why it sounds like absolute shit. It's literally just tractoring out of the fucking head. For 10 bucks I can buy wide or like O2 sensor plugs. Well, we just spent the entire day cleaning the shop, but it was well worth it. We got this thing to the point where it's running and driving. I think we're gonna sell it and pick up another car here shortly. But yeah, I've needed to do this for a little while, organize the toolbox since I moved, and just clean up all the mess we made.